First toke is for the devil. Sometimes I get little hearts and cute things. It's so awesome. I wanted to welcome you guys tonight. I'm in my office studio, but we're hanging out on the couch because my desk is my working altar and it's a bit chaotic right now. And I just felt like sitting down and being comfortable with you guys. I don't want to get into global problems in this video because it is something that I feel like I can hyper focus and fixate on, and it makes me feel almost like I'm not a fucking human sometimes, and I'm just wanting to scream at the entire planet. And I don't like how it feels, and I feel more comfortable talking about the spiritual stuff. But as I get into this video, and for those of you who might be new to this sort of working, this sort of spiritual path within the dark spectrum of spirituality and of life, I recommend that you do ground and you do stay active in your present day life, because you can go fucking insane by having these sort of prominent experiences. And I have gone insane before. I was clinically insane for nearly a year, so I know the fucking signs. I've been through it twice. And being an occultist and a cannabis patient probably doesn't help, but the experiences that I've been having astrally for the past 6 months are becoming so scarily real that I feel like I can almost touch, which isn't something that I was able to do before. And maybe some of you who are much more adept than I am have that experience. But I am certain, and this is my own UPG, so take it as you will, that we are here to collect data and to understand and orchestrate our feelings, emotions through different forms of communication. And we are supposed to be building our own astral realm with what we have here on Earth. And we're supposed to be understanding each other and understanding death and the afterlife. I really believe that we have so much hidden from us. And as a result, we're dealing with all of these structures that are falling apart, because if you dig deep, and I know there's a lot of tinfoil shit out there, but I think at least those people are thinking, and it's better than just accepting things for what it is. This all goes back to Gnosticism, and this all goes back to spiritual warfare, and this all goes back to knowing who the real goddamn devil is. And as I grow deep into my everyday practice, especially with King Belial and Lord Azazel, because they simultaneously have just been in my energetic vortex as I work on myself in all areas of my life. I am fucking having a lot of experiences where, like, this can be manufactured. Okay, sometimes demon spirits will manufacture a reality for you, so that doesn't mean this is what's going on. It could be metaphorical. But I have had 2 astral experiences where I'm at the center of the earth. I don't know anything about the reptilian bullshit and all that. But there has been a huge draconian head that's silver with like a huge blue eye in an entire walls like tank, right? And the first time I saw it, Belial was next to me, holding his hand sort of at parade rest, and but very loose. He's very loose jointed, and he's always at my left. And we were just staring at this creature, and he was just kind of spectating it, and I was trying to take the whole fucking thing in, because now we're at the center of the earth, which looks like some sort of lab, and there's a big old dragon's head there. And I didn't know what to make of it, because it was one of these experiences where I pulled back and I woke up really quickly, which usually these days I have a little bit more of it's time to go back, and I feel the travel like you do when you're coming out of your body, because I know a lot of you have these experiences too. I've been having astral experiences since I was 12 years old, and since I started my path with the demonolatry, they are fucking really adept. And I say that very loosely because I'm a student of the universe. But I'm almost able to touch things when I'm out there. I'm able to communicate. There's times where I can't see Belial's face. I see like a very dark shadow that seems to go on for eternity, and I know it's his energetic signature. He is predominantly with me on all of my path workings, whether I ask him to or not. So that's the reason why I speak so much about him. I don't know what else to do. Because some people get like annoyed, like, can you talk about this? Not those of you who are asking, can you discuss a certain demon? I mean the ones who are like, all you talk about is like Azazel and Lucifer and Lilith, you know, in my beginning of my sharing my practice. And it's like, first of all, it takes a long time to really build this sort of repertoire with demons, and it takes a long time, especially for those of you who feel fucking naturally like comfortable with this, to adapt to being okay with that. Like, that has been me without the religious jargon. I don't have religious trauma. I've had a lot of experiences within religious congregations, but none that were like in my own household and shit, you know. I don't know what else to say about that, but I am having these sort of experiences where they feel they're so fucking real that they don't feel like lucid anymore. They don't feel like when you are having astral projection where everything's vibrating and you're trying to align, you're trying to get that radio signal and fucking fine tune it. Like, this is fine tuned shit. Since I started my path working with demons closely, like, it's almost like living two different realities. And I don't know how to articulate this information, but I feel such an urge to share it for some reason. Even the videos get no views. It's for those people. I'm assuming that. But I had another experience similar to the one I just explained a few nights ago. And I was back at the center of the earth with a big fucking dragon's head. Belial's to my left again. This time I'm more elevated. My higher self, which I believe when we're astral, that's our higher selves. A very elevated version that understands our past lives, understands our connections, understands what the reality of living on Earth really means. She is very evolved compared to the last time. And she already was higher than me, you know? I'm certain that some of you have that experience. You might be this like badass, you know, on the astral plane. That's your higher self. I truly believe that. And we are able to fine tune ourselves physically to understand the process of becoming that, you know, like if it's getting in shape or if it's taking on like boxing or something or some sort of thing that reminds you of them. I feel like that's what we're supposed to do so we can understand all of that. But I was there again at the center of the earth, and I knew that that was Yahweh. And I'm not suggesting, right, and I didn't have the feeling that he's held captive at the center of the earth. But when I tell you I was fucking yelling everything you can goddamn imagine, because I was like wife yelling at him. You know, like you guys already know. When you are just fucking up so big time and you're just so disappointed and just this, whatever it is. And Belial, his force, he's gentle, but it's so heavy and strong, right? So when I tell you he grabbed my shoulders, he wasn't aggressive. It's just he's like naturally 5,000 fucking pounds, it feels. And when he put his hands on my shoulders, he jarred me like directly toward him. And I can see into his eyes, and they are black, and they are so deep because of the expansion. It doesn't represent emptiness. It represents all of the fucking the lifetimes that they've had. And it's overwhelming when a demon stares you into your eyes. But he told me to just stop giving it energy. And he was so prominent on that. And then I woke up. Like when I'm telling you, he's saying to just stop fucking giving it energy completely. It dies. And right now we are in so many wars because we are in global war. I don't want to, like I said, talk too much about the physical, but I'm just disgusted. And I'm not wanting to sound like one of these privileged Westerners crying on camera about how bad the world and how guilty I feel. We have enough of those fucking bitches. I'm sick of all that shit too. I am spiritually grieving for some reason. And the past few months, it's just getting more and more. And like my life is pretty balanced. My personal life is really peaceful. I'm very busy. And I have to be in order to adapt to a lot of the shit going on. Because we're going through some silent fucking depression here in Australia. The United States is on fire and going through hell right now. And we're still gaslit. And I still have to pay fucking taxes too. And here it's we're going to head toward financial famine here. And I'm not trying to scare people, but like for real, I recognize patterns, and I've been through this sort of shit living in California, and I've studied this shit for decades, and we're not in a good direction. But spiritually, it's because we are starved, I believe. And spiritually, we have been fear-mongered into fearing death. That doesn't mean I'm suggesting you be careless with this precious life. But what I mean by that is we are supposed to expand energetically and die with fucking honor no matter how hard it is. And somehow, our primordial spirits, and I don't want to sound like some little super group, Because there is no community. Everybody says there's a community. It's just a bunch of broken fucking people that have thick skin and are trying. That's what it really is. It's a bunch of fucking people that just got conned. And we don't want to bitch and snivel about it. We just want to cope and just learn. We have collectively been conned. And I genuinely believe those of us who have alliances with these fallen angels have past life alliances with them, somehow or not. I don't care how or what, it doesn't fucking matter. But I have had so many visions with Belial about past wars. I have seen so much devastation. I think that I had a psychotic break not too long ago. And when I let out a cry, like my husband was there for me, I had the worst vision. And I don't even want to repeat it. And Belial was standing on the earth. And there was fire around the both of us. And there was so much devastation going on. And all his energy can be was like, it has to happen this way. And I'm not thinking Armageddon's happening. What I mean is, I think metaphorically, because we're going through all of this war, we're going through a depression, we're going to hit it, you guys. Okay? Please stop thinking everything's going to go back to normal. But we are in spiritual warfare because these systems want us siphoned. They want us feeling hopeless. They want us to turn to God. They want us to fucking crack and crawl on our knees. And they do nothing but take our energy from us. They take all of our time. They take all of our coding. They turn us into something we're not. Like, no matter what industry that you're proficient in, or if you're just casual everywhere and floating around and trying to figure it out, like, none of it matters. What matters is you're a genuinely decent human fucking being, and you just want society to neutrally exist. That's what I think. But we have been so stripped down of our integrity, of our honor, of our strength, because we're weakened. Those of you who are sitting and drinking yourselves to death because you feel beat up, it's not your fault, but what you're doing to continue to stay put is. For those of you who are too scared to make a fucking move in your life, for those of you who are too broken because everybody keeps dying or falling apart and everybody just blames you or turns to you for help and you just want to go on your fucking like ravenous villain era mode, I'm spiritually suggesting that now's the time to expand and have some fortitude and patience and be in the present, because your life doesn't have to be about suffering, but it needs to be about strength. I'm not suggesting or having undertones that your life is going to be devastated anytime soon. But what I'm suggesting is there's going to be some discomforts, and there's going to be some odd fucking shit happening, and there's going to be some of us who grew up seeing all kinds of shit like this. This is second nature. Like, the things I see here in Australia are what I used to experience in California. You move to a decent, quiet area, you try your best in gang territory, and in 6 months to a year, it's fucked. It doesn't matter what you do, and then the prices just keep rapidly increasing, and crime just keeps getting more and more prominent. And it's because our own government silently makes that happen to simulate poverty and war and crime and gangs and nonsense. So the rest of us, the middle class, or what we think we're middle class, but we're not, is fucking scared shitless, and we just run ourselves to death, thinking we're going to get near the top where these people are. Because a couple celebrities, most of them are nepotism fucking nepo babies, they get handpicked and curated and turned into some brand. Their name, their image, everything, to the point where some of these people, I don't know about the cloning thing, but if they did clone or do AI, it would just be a fucking brand. I'm not sure about the human cloning. I know it's possible. I know it's absolutely plausible, and there has been successes in that. I'm not proficient in Holly weird shit, because I'm just annoyed enough that pop culture Satanism's made a big return. And of course, we get blamed for that, because that's how that system's set up. It's so clever. It's so interesting to me. You know, Lucifer is the light bringer, but that's bad. No one's fucking seeing that part yet. Everybody's starting to wake up socially and politically and a bit spiritually, but people that are stuck in the religious jargon, they still think it's black versus white, evil versus good, and not, there's a fucking abstract spectrum within all of that shit. And this is a goddamn pissing contest because somebody wanted to be in charge, because somebody's energetic signature is all about fucking war and destruction. But somehow, this guy, this motherfucker, has been seen as the all being, even though the goddamn scriptures are right there and they tell you exactly who he is, exactly what he's capable of, along with the other big demigods. And you see the people at the top of these religions, they're all so fucking horrific and corrupt, and they do terrible things, and they boast around in their satins and their silks and their fucking gem encrusted Bibles. That doesn't sound very Christ-like to me. That doesn't sound like somebody who actually fucking gets it spiritually. That's at ground level. None of them are. And what's simultaneous with all of these major religious structures? Fucking war. And that war trickles down to ourselves. The spiritual war that goes into our mind, the chronic fucking tug of war of guilt and shame over things that have been manufactured to be shamed about. Because really, what do we need to be ashamed about outside if we're hurting innocent fucking people? Like, seriously. So spiritually, I just feel like something ravenous is going to come out of me. And I have been holding back for months because who am I? I'm a goddamn retired line cook from California that's got a messy fucking life that she's been chronically trying to fix, and she just torpedoed straight into a goddamn bonfire the second she was born. And a lot of you guys can relate to that. And I don't know if it's woo-woo, but sometimes I wonder if it's fucking related to some of this shit. And this is pre-biblical and pre-Abrahamic for people who get annoyed that I'm not all edgelord Goetia. Like, those are very, very important aspects of these entities, but they are so much more than just their dark aspect. They got pushed into that dark spectrum because they were fucking gaslit and they were overpowered by tyranny over wanting us as resources to work ourselves to death and to just praise Yahweh, just praise God and fucking die for him. And I honestly believe sometimes, maybe subconsciously, or it's just synchronizing. You know, I don't know if there's some oligarchs at the top. I know they're doing occult structures. I absolutely know that shit. But in terms of something higher than that, it generally feels like they're still trying to get that resource from us, because what are we all doing? Every fucking cent that we spend goes straight to them. Energetically, money is just currency. It's energy. I've been working very closely with Mammon and learning so much of just about the energetic signature of what we consider money that we created, so we can have boundaries over the resources that the earth provides that we might alchemize because of our own brilliant minds, or just, you know, ideas that we have from our brilliant minds. We're supposed to be treating this fucking planet like an arena, and just and creating things that make each other have a sense of wonder and appreciation and connect and feed off of those ideas, and breed art and breed innovation. But there's unfortunately a universal law of a fucking double-edged sword to everything, isn't there? So when there's a fucking idea, there's going to be a problem, and then a solution, and then a problem that comes from that solution. And it just continues to expand. And that is nature. However, how all this stuff is set up right now, it is just mostly problems. And the world feels very heavy. And you and I that are sitting here and you have the time to watch this video or choose if you want to or not, we're in the top 10% wealthiest people in the world. We're really blessed, and I'm not one of these fucking guilt-mongering fucking assholes, hypocrites with their goddamn $70 Stanley Cup. You gotta feel guilty. Go fuck yourselves. My point is this system is so rigged that those of us who are tired, like, we haven't made, can imagine everybody else. That's how fucked it is. It's hell. It feels like fucking hell, doesn't it? And the way that you master hell is by mastering the hell within you. And I'm telling you, on a spiritual forefront, their energy has been so prominent in just having fortitude. Azazel, they don't tell me, make a video, you know, they're possessing me and I'm forced to tell you. I get so much nonsense at times. Azazel's really wanting me to come forward and speak my mind. I'm like, I don't want to look like a fucking goofball. Like, oh, I'm going to be the one, guys. I see so many edgelords online. I'm not even trying to be active and beef with people online anyways these days. Most of it's fucking bots now. We're in dead internet era. We're really headed toward that, and I don't even care. Everybody's just upset and fighting. I try to see what people are saying, but I see these fucking 19-year-old kids, oh, I'm Azazel's right-hand man. And it's like, you're going through puberty, dude. Go shut up and build some muscle and stretch and be flexible and fucking meditate. Like, don't, just enough already. And I guess my own ego, I play tug of war with myself because I don't want to fucking do any of this shit sometimes. Like, I'm just really having so many of these experiences. And I just feel like I'm just talking into the void. Maybe it's a time capsule for the future. I don't even fucking care. It's just odd to me how, like, I can't seem to conventionally make money even on the internet, but like my life will be very prosperous and I'll still have it come into. It's always been like that. It's always been me working my ass off, having no results, and then some fucking miracle just bitch kicks me and I'm like, what the fuck? And it's been like that since I can remember. And I feel free with just doing this sort of stuff and talking, but please just do your own goddamn research. For those of you who are like, please give me an answer, help me, I don't want that shit. And there are so many of you, the majority of you are very proficient in occultism, and you're probably laughing, going, yep, me too, had that one. I understand. It's hard to digest, and that's why I recommend grounding and just eating when you're hungry, eating good food, and being grateful when you have food, and just connecting with nature in your own way. Trust me, I don't fucking like nature. I've loved nature, and I've been in nature a lot. But I'm always like, there's a bug, and you get used to it after a while. Like, I'm just such a wuss. But when I'm grounding and I'm gardening and I'm really connecting with like Prince Stolas outside or with Belial's energy for sure, and he always tells me something fucking morbid about something, I feel the essence around me of this earth, and I understand that this is just a goddamn playing field ran by a bunch of Machiavellian, hoarding fucking psychopaths, clinical psychopaths that hire clinical psychopaths to go fight these proxy wars that cause more destruction because they want to go get some. And that's no offense to our soldiers. Trust me, I almost joined the Marine Corps right out of high school. I was talked out of it. I just didn't have another option. But I understand because I was fucking homeless when I graduated high school, so I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do. And I was like 10 seconds away from going to boot camp. And I understand why a lot of people enlist because you're targeted when you come from, a rough fucking community. Those motherfucking recruiters are right there talking to every 16-year-old boy and girl, and you don't have a goddamn future. You're trying, but you're trying to battle all kinds of shit. And everybody I knew had to go through something like that. And I just externally step back. I'm not feeling sorry for myself, and I really apologize if it sounds like that. I am so disconnected at this point from I'm just absurd. It's the absurdity of human suffering when it's not fucking necessary. And it's all for just the illusion of power. Because these people have no power. And they spiritually have no power either. They have their God. I asked Belial one time. And he gets, I don't want to say annoyed, but a little like, here we go. When I'm asking, like, what happens to bad people? Because it's not like they're going to be punished. But he did say something one time in UPG that when people are at that level, they are so empty inside. When they have to do heinous things for entertainment, which I won't repeat, and I'm sure you guys already know, that they become the nether because they have nothing to expand on. There's no emotion, like there's no love, there's nothing to them. If they have no money and no killers and no people and no bootlickers, and it's just, one of us, I say this all the time, it's one of those motherfuckers in a room with you, guess who's going to be more afraid of who? That's because they have no fortitude. They have nothing but the illusion of power, which is what money gives. And as a result, we are all exchanging our energy. It has nothing to even do with just money. It's energy. And then our life goes wasted, and then we get gaslit on our deathbed. You should have taken better care of yourself. You should have fucking listened to this person. You shouldn't have worked so hard. You should have had kids. You shouldn't have had kids. You should have gotten married. You shouldn't have gotten married. You shouldn't have gotten divorced. You should have gotten a divorce. Like, you don't win. No matter what you do. And in our modern society, you die in a sterile fucking environment, surrounded by a bunch of overworked people who are just ready for you to fucking kick the bucket so they can go home. And I'm not saying that people are cold. I know I hear lots of medical stories for people in hospice, and they're good-hearted people, but fuck me, a lot of death witches are also in hospice too, and I can only imagine what that is like. I've heard so many stories about hospice nurses, coming into their psychic abilities because of being around so much death. So I'm sorry if that was insensitive, but you can't fucking help but just laugh and say, you know what, it's true. Because the people aren't cruel. They're just goddamn underpaid, overworked, and sick of all this bullshit themselves. Because it's not working, and in their hearts, if they were compensated and they had, nice regular shifts, and they didn't have to deal with a bunch of fucking politics and bullshit and hospital nonsense and jargon, they probably would be more than happy to help save lives. Just like I would be more than happy to fucking cook for everybody. Like if we're all thriving, I like cooking. That's my love language. I like to feed you, and I'm a gift giver. And these days I'm selective because I'm fucking sick of people. But in my heart of heart, that's who I am. You know, if I really care about you, like I'm thoughtful. It's just I don't got a lot of people I'm like that with anymore. Like just I can't. I don't have the capacity because everybody just fucking snorted all that energy out of me and just was like, "You got any more?" And I said, "You know what? I'm done. I'm goodbye. Fucking good riddance, and have a really nice life and have peace and expansion. But I need to go grind and do my own thing, and take back your energy." And now really is the time I genuinely feel like it breaks my heart how divided we are. Humans are just fighting. Men and women hate each other. People are getting more divorces than ever. It's because of all the pressure that we have, and that's mostly because this systems, all of these systems spiritually just siphon the life out of us. And the fallen angels wanted us to expand and have enrichment in life. That's why they taught us sciences, mathematics, alchemy, things about the plants, things about color psychology, which people call it, but it's color magic. They taught us about wearing color and dyeing fabrics and experiencing different vibrational frequencies in fabrics too. It's all vibration, and when we're able to transcribe all that now. You can transcribe a picture or a sigil into an audio. um that's how everything is. And they taught us that, and they wanted us to learn fortitude and learn how to wield a weapon. There were wars already going on earth amongst man. They didn't come and start the biggest war. There were already systems in place. Obviously, they didn't just sneak out the back door when they were in quote unquote heaven and just flew down from the sky and said, "I want to fuck this girl." Like, that's not what happened. From my understanding, and this is UPG, there was conflict amongst those beings that have far more intelligence than we do, and they have their own programmers. Because we're coded, you guys. It sounds boring and sterile and computer nerdy and matrix enthusiasm bullshit, but every fucking thing to us has a numerical factor. Every single thing, to our bone density, to the color of our skin, the length of our hair, everything. Our blood type, everything. Because that is their language. And they have more of that. So, and they understand us because they helped us. I really believe they put their coding within us when they teach us, like your nature and nurture. And the reason why we have some of these idiosyncrasies of theirs in our nature and that feel so aligned is because they taught us that. They mentored us. They loved us. Whatever relationships that they had with us in those lives, I genuinely believe that. I've had this shit follow me my entire life. And I am getting more and more visions of these wars as I get older. And I never knew how to articulate them because a lot of people just want attention. And you know what? Maybe I am fucking nuts. Maybe it's just schizophrenia at this point, and I'm just raw dogging the whole thing. You know what? What do I do? I'm working on myself, and my life is improving, and I feel more centered. I feel just self-aware and at peace. I don't have to try to stuff the past away. I'm just at peace that it exists, and I don't have to. I never liked to think about it, so I'll just chronically try to push it away, and it would pop up somewhere, and you just don't want it to because you don't want to be fucking sniveling and wimping about it. But you just give yourself space when you navigate those dark forests, and you come out of it, and you look at the journey ahead, and you go, okay, I knew now that my journey back then was supposed to be about the journey, so I don't need to worry about the future. I'm here right now in the present having this experience. I'm alive. I am where I am. I have things, and I genuinely believe that we need to have incantations of gratitude. I know it sounds new agey, and there's just a lot of new age shit. Maybe that there's truth to a lot of that sort of stuff because I'm not doubting it. It's just sometimes people get a bit goofy with all their terms. Who the fuck am I to say anything? But I genuinely believe that we need to just be in the present and be gratitude and say incantations of things we're grateful for. Like, I am very fucking grateful for my place. I can't believe I know I talk about it too much, but when I tell you we lost our house because of the housing crash here, and we're going up for a 15th interest spike. It's nuts, and I was able to get a really cool place, exactly what we needed and wanted, even with a fortified garden room and extra doors and security and a detached big office for me to play witchcraft in all day for you guys. And it's really amazing. It's an old fucking house and it's probably haunted, but I would know if it's haunted, but there's just shit that goes on here, and I honestly think that's my crew doing all of that noise. But I am really grateful every single day because this house is very grounding. It's very like secure too. Like nobody would be able to shoot through it. It's really fucking like made out of just thick ass like sandstone, and it's like just very soundproof, and it's very secure, and it's on high ground. It's like everything you would need to survive the apocalypse, pretty much. You know, and I'm fucking not afraid of people doxing my ass. I'm not gonna sit here and live in fear. I'm not messy about it. And I'm far, far away in Australia, anyways. But I'm telling you guys, there's so much peace in this house, and this whole area, this land just feels like a sanctuary that I'm gonna be here for a bit and not forever. But like, I feel very grateful every single day. So, whatever it is that you have, you know, if you have like a yummy meal, just have gratitude. If you know, I'm serious, it sounds silly, but those resources can be easily taken from us just because these hoarders want to make more money. And that's happening. There's no need for a lot of this. There's no need for food deserts. There's no need for fucking poverty. And that, I'm telling you, as a gardener, there is an abundance of resources on this earth. This earth provides. Like, when you get going in gardening, you will have some hiccups. Those of you who've been doing it know it. You'll, the first couple years, it'll be hit or miss. You'll have some things work, some things are like, I don't know what the fuck I did wrong, but nothing worked. And once it gets going, though, like, you see the plants just procreate on their own, and you don't even have to worry about seeding them anymore. And you have too much of something. Like all of the herbs that I would buy for witchcraft and medicine online, oh, I think support your small businesses for sure, because those prices might be high because they need to be. Some places, respectfully, are a ripoff. Like, I hate saying this, but buying loose herbs from witchcraft shops is usually really fucking expensive. And I'm not trying to bash anybody who sells their herbs. I don't, maybe there's some logistics I'm not understanding, but fuck me. I can't imagine paying for like a tiny baggie of valerian $10 when I grow it myself now, but you can get a good tea, like just valerian root, organic local valerian root for like $7 and you get like, you know, 200 grams of it, which is a lot for valerian. And I think that when we realize how abundant these resources are, we realize outside of small businesses who are chokeholded and forced to set the prices that they do, please, for those of you who have small businesses, this does not apply to you. But when you realize how abundant resources are, you realize we are getting so fucking robbed. Like, as a cook, you guys, there is so many things that we pay for convenience that are so bullshit easy to make and bullshit ingredients, and we are just getting fucking conned here. Like, anything you can think of, it's just an assembly of basic ingredients. Like pudding that you get at the store, it's just milk and fucking corn flour or cornstarch and some powdered sugar and flavoring and food coloring in America. That's it. And it's cooked down and it doesn't take long. It takes like 10 minutes. And that's fine if you buy your pudding packs. Like, fuck me, I'm a mom. I don't always want to scratch cook. Trust me, if there's some good deals on shit, and I buy the convenience, okay? Here in Australia, the food quality is much better than the United States, so you can be laxed about a lot of things. A lot of food dyes, people argue, no, they're not banned. There's a lot of shit that's banned here, that we just allow in America because we have terrible food standards. But outside of that sort of shit, we're getting conned. This earth is very abundant. Herbs, spices, produce, tomatoes. If you have one tomato plant, you're just going to get so many plump, yummy tomatoes, like bloop, 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 and you're like, fuck, what do I do? You know, unless you have kids like me that like eating them like apples. But, you know, you can do a lot with those resources, but when you buy them at the store, it's bullshit expensive. Like, tomatoes are $2 fucking each for them. I'm like, for a fucking regular tomato. Not like some big heirloom tomato, which, again, very easy to grow. And if that's not accessible to you, then this conversation's not for you. That's totally fine if you're not interested, or if you have a small balcony. I've been there. You know what? You can get a few herbs though. I'm going to challenge some of you. Go, I don't have any space. You have a fucking balcony or a windowsill. You can get a couple culinary herbs that you can use for cooking and for your witchcraft. Like, I think that you can. Just don't get rosemary unless you want to fucking pull your hair out, because you would think it's a very easy herb to grow. But it is goddamn hard, and every gardener seems to agree. So I am barely getting the hang of my rosemary. So I suggest sandy soil, because they're just very finicky. They will die. They will just do nothing for fucking months. like an NPC, just like, oh, I don't know. What do we do? In all seriousness, you guys, we have abundance in resources and we have abundance in energy. We are giving all of our energy and our resources to the wrong fucking entities. And we need to be giving it to ourselves. And we don't have access to that because we're stuck paying bills, we have kids, we have medical needs. Everybody's situation's different. This isn't linear and black and white, and I really think that's a part of the problem too. Is too many people argue black and white without realizing people have a complexity of circumstances. Not everybody fucked up their life. And even if they did, how come we live in a system that makes it impossible for you to make that right outside of like doing the unthinkable things, you know? Why is that? If you have kids too soon in life, you fucked it up like I did. But I see a lot of women who, okay, I had my first baby at 19 and got married out of high school and had a family really young because I wanted a family. Like, that was it. And I thought if you worked hard, that's fine. That it wouldn't be a problem because I liked where I worked in high school anyways for most of it. And I didn't think that that would be an issue because I didn't realize how fucking bad it was getting. And you are set up for failure. But on the flip side, I see so many women who didn't have children by the time they were 23, 24, and they're chastised for it. You know, by the time you get 25, you're going to be too old to fucking settle down and have kids. And I'm like, what? But what? There's not that big of a difference. Like, there is between 19 and 25, but in terms of like getting your finances in order and really working on your career, if you're doing everything that the system says, you're most likely barely getting out of school or still in school, and you're not really there yet in adulthood. You know what I mean? So how the fuck is it supposed to work like that? So you're supposed to just go straight to college right out of high school for 4 years, get a degree, and then settle down and have kids and just pay for an education you're not going to use? Because by the time you get to use it when your kids are grown, it's going to be fucking obsolete, right? That's a lot of fields. Like, I know that there are certain like electrical fields that are like that. You know, by the time you learn something or you learn something with coding, it's obsolete. By the time you graduate, you know, something else is the new norm. And it's like a big fucking scam. So you're gaslit no matter what you do in the system, and as a result, we're exhausted. And I'm not trying to sit here and brag and boast about my life, because I had to really shift my paradigm after years of fighting and being angry that I'm in this situation in Australia where I'm fucking beefing with the government right now, and I am in court and I am taking care of business because they fucked up royally, and I can't work, I'm out of money, all these other things. Boo hoo. I had to finally come to my senses and realize, you know what? I have a partner that like is happy that I'm home, doesn't like that I'm overworked, makes things easy for me, and actually loves spoiling me and loves seeing me happy, and tells me, hey, just relax with the babies and just smoke pot and go garden if you want. Don't worry about anything. Why the fuck am I beefing with myself? But it is important to have your own income, okay? For those of you who are young women, you better have your own income, okay? Because it doesn't matter, because he gets on my nerves too at times. So I'm fucking, you know, I always make sure that I'm working towards something. I was a young mom, but I went to school when I was young, and it was hard. I'm not glorifying it. It's just I learned very quickly that life is very unfair to people who work hard, and life also happens, and it's usually something as a result of this fucking system, losing your house because of a housing crisis, or your car breaks down and your credit card that you had for emergencies only gets maxed out just for your car to break down again the next day, all in one fucking week. And you throw your back out too. Like that's a fucked up week. I had a really fucked up week in 2008. I lost my house, my car, and I threw my back out at work all in one fucking week. And I was in my car crying with two kids. And I didn't have anybody to help me. I had fucking we can kind of help you. Like, it was so fucked up. And I felt like shit, and I did everything right. And that's what happens. And it takes so much out of you. It makes you scared all the time. It makes you vulnerable to homelessness, to fucking everything. Yet we continue to be gaslit and gaslight each other because we're programmed to. We're programmed to blame somebody. Well, you should have done do that. You shouldn't have done that. We need to wake up, I really believe, spiritually, and be okay with just being ourselves, for one. And for me, at least, like, you do you. Listen, whatever the fuck you do in your life, really, I don't care. Because people feel the need to be like, oh, well, what about me? It's like, get over it. Stop. You don't need to explain yourself. I just don't want to be a part of this shit anymore. It's impossible to thrive in. It's impossible to go dine out. Like for two people here, it costs $50 for a basic thing. Like it's not worth it. And even grocery shopping the way that I did for me, it's just not worth it anymore. It's not. It's exhausting. And when you take back your power by kind of allowing yourself to be more comfortable in other areas and less comfortable in these areas that you're using to cope with this bullshit, you start to feel really good about your day. And despite the world going to fucking shit and shenanigans right now, and I have my own personal struggles, my life is improving. And it's because of my paradigm. And I attract more good things and opportunities without hoping for a fucking miracle. Or, working my ass off for fucking nothing just to be gaslit. The power really is within us, and in order for us to beat this shit, we have to be aligned with ourselves. We have to understand what it is we want to do, and that could be anything. There's no goal. You don't need a purpose. You need to just feel comfortable in your own skin and be okay with being yourself and existing, because then you'll have some peace. And for me, I am extremely isolated, and I have been most of my life, even in both of my marriages, just because it synchronizes with work and chronic travel. I am chronically alone. And it's been like that despite being well taken care of and still working my ass off for myself while raising kids. It's not easy. I have come to a point where I'm at peace with that because I stopped trying to reach out to people and stopped trying to help people and fix people and build people up. And I'm not saying that you have to be cruel to people, but just taking back your own energy. You don't have the energy to do that right now because most of your energetic output is going to being able to pay for your bills or your mortgage or your car note and groceries, and your kids need new shoes and you got to do this and you got this going on. That's where it is. And these motherfuckers just snort this shit up all day long, laughing at us, wanting us to be pissed off and ignorant, and then justifying. This is why we can justify just enslaving these idiots, because look at how they act. Look at how they act on New Year's Eve in New York City. They wear diapers so they can stand in a crowd with a bunch of other people for 10 hours and shit themselves. This is why we're burning the fucking place down, and we're going to start anew. And that's how they see us. Every single one of us. Even though most of us aren't doing that, we're pretty fucking rational and got our heads on. I'm not trying to, not you guys. I just feel the energy. I'm not trying to blow fucking compliments up anybody's ass. I don't need the numbers. I don't need the bullshit. I'm actually at this point where I'm struggling with becoming a fucking complete pessimistic bitch because I am so broken down by the reality of how fucking shitty the world is and how shitty the structures need to be in order for the nice things to exist. And that's when you learn about hidden knowledge. That's what the devil teaches you. The devil, and you know what? The devil collective, the fallen angels, and the devil himself, they have taught me the beauty within that. It's the growing process. It's understanding and having that sense of empathy and making a beautiful environment for yourself and making a beautiful environment for other people by sharing your thoughts, your feelings, your art, your ideas, and having the courage to do so. Because these systems want us to be just stupefied and fucking scared. And even though a lot of us are just really tough and we've been through shit and we can handle anything, we're all fucking on edge right now. And I can feel it, and I'm spiritually, I grieve physically, and it's like my spiritual self is just grieving so fucking much. And when I'm on the astral, there are times I can't see Belial. It's like I said, a black face, but I'm just grieving at him. Like, why is it like this? It doesn't have to be like this. Like, I don't know why, but I just feel the need to tell him in person when I'm doing that, because their energy, look at, if you start dabbling into demons, you're going to feel their energy whether you're meaning to or not. This doesn't just affect you when you're in the mood to be a witch. This affects you when you absolutely need to have your attention on them. And it's for your own good and it's for your growth. And I have grown rapidly. When you go through expansion, you have to catch your breath when you start shedding your skin and growing a new one for a bit, because you're in a little checkpoint and there's no ending. It's just, you know that you can do other things now with the tools that you've learned. It's like learning a new skill. You know, if you practice, your bar chords and you learn a little tabs, you can play this and that on guitar. But you know what you really need to do is you need to do PMIA, and fucking get your strumming down first for like a month. and then focus on all that shit. But then, you know, it's like you get to step into that new process of that. It's like cooking. You have to learn the mother sauces and about food poisoning and quality control and chemical, you know, cross contamination and all that before you start cooking all kinds of elaborate shit. And our life is supposed to be like that, and it's not. We're not supposed to be impatient and have rapidly short attention spans. We're just exhausted. I don't think it's ADHD either. I have to say something, and you guys can disagree, but I've had ADHD my whole life, and you know what we did as kids? We fucking ran around outside, and we got to a few fist fights, and we played fucking cops and robbers and pirates, and we beefed with the neighborhood kids, and we had lots of fun, and we played, and we got wet in the sprinklers, and we drank from the water hose, and we ran, and we fucking rode our bikes, and we played Barbies and pretend, and then we came inside and freshened up, and we ate an actual meal with actual fucking ingredients, and we did our decent amount of homework and went the fuck to bed, or did our homework first, or lied about it, whatever. And and that's what it was. It's kids these days, they are forced to be inside because, like, a lot of kids in the United States, they can't go play outside anymore. That was already a problem when my two eldest, who are adults now, were there. Like, they couldn't go play. I couldn't tell them go play outside with the other kids. They would have gotten fucking shot. Like, there's no way. So I took them to art museums and parks, and they were in theater, and they were in structured environments, and then at home very creative and fun, and they had, you know, friends and family sleepovers and all that sort of stuff, you know, with my at my house. And I gave them a really great childhood in that way. And my two youngest, they get to have more of a country sort of life. They're running around outside and learning about bugs and gardening, and Australia is becoming more like how California used to be. And it's just, I don't like that, you know. I see all of these things happening, and it makes me angry. So I want people to understand, like, I'm not sitting here and my imagination is going crazy and, oh, I see this. Because your imagination, too, absolutely, if you're in meditation and you start seeing visions and you're not playing into them, sometimes you can. When you are playing into them, it's like you guys are both creating a universe within your mind. You know what I mean? That energetic signature that you understand is helping you with that. But a lot of the times, demons will take you to them. They will either manufacture something for you, or sometimes some of them will take you to, you know, intimate more places, like a library of theirs, or, you know, somewhere like Belial has like a cave, and it's just, it feels very like tourmaline and onyx, but black diamond all at once, and there's all of these different structures within it. And I will go and visit with him, and he'll be my counsel. And a lot of the time I feel like I'm allowed to just unleash at him, and I want people to understand I'm not just playing a bratty game, like I get to just stomp and be disrespectful. It's like a controlled environment where I get to really just unleash, and when I unleash, it's very, I have got a lot of energy. And when I'm sad, the fucking goddamn block will feel it. And it's heavy, and I isolate myself. When I am angry, I am fucking just ready to rip my goddamn own head off and kick it. Like, I'm just so fucking that mad when I'm actually mad, you know, at actual real shit, not like small shit. Um, but I just really struggle with that. And I feel like sometimes demonic entities, they will help have that sort of environment to help you expand and let it out, because you're feeling like you can't on this plane, like you're not able to, and you should and you want to, but it'd be too much. And it's not because I feel like I'm gonna be like fucking Goku, like screaming so loud, you know, I pass out. But like, I mean that, like, it's a safe environment to be able to release that energy. And I do, and I let it out, and I don't know why, but I feel so fucking like annoyed and super psychotically mad that the world is so broken. And it's not that I'm sitting here thinking about it consciously all day long. This is like subconscious shit that happens. Because my everyday, like, of course I'm in and out and thinking about shit, and I have spiritual experiences in my controlled environment, and I feel their energies around me, and my days feel like I'm at work. I'm in the kitchen a lot, I'm in the yard, I'm filming, and then on my downtime I'm editing. I have a lot going on, and I feel in the present. So I feel good, and I feel like I'm in a workflow, and everything, systems are running smoothly. But at night, when I'm going to bed and I'm like too tired and I'm ready to, I have all of these sort of experiences where I am just letting my energy and my feelings loose to him, around him. And it has to do with the world structures. So maybe if you've had the same experiences, you can elaborate and let me know. because it's barely been like heavy on my chest for a few months in particular, and I don't know how to articulate myself sometimes because I don't want all of my content to be just like fucking negative. Like I'm an actually a pretty content person, believe it or not. Like I know I'm always like, hear ye, the world's gonna fucking blow up and I'm glad. Like I feel parts of that sometimes, like, you know what, fuck it, let it just go kaboom, because we're all fucked up and tired, and it just, where are we doing here? But in my internal, like my divine feminine, my depth of my soul, I'm like, I just want humanity to grow and to understand their self worth, and to understand that if we just get our shit together silently and we stop worrying about what people think, we stop being fucking. Some people are performative. I can't relate. I'm an Aquarius sun and rising, and that's probably why, but there's no mask with me, bitch. You get what you fucking get. I will say I'm quiet in public and I'm polite. I say please and thank you, and I just keep things fucking simple. And I'm like this if I'm like comfortable around you, though, or if some bitch, not these days, I can't get deported again, but I can't fucking be starting beef with people. But I honestly don't have any of that in my environment because I don't attract it anymore. I used to all the time in California. It'd always be some fucking dumb ass bitch doing something ridiculous. You know, like fucking trying to bully somebody out of their parking space, or bitching or shoving somebody, you know, and then who am I? Miss Robin Hood, I gotta go save the day. No, I needed to just mind my own fucking business and not feel the need to do that and actually work on myself. Not that you shouldn't intervene for certain things, but like that. My point is this is what you get. There's no internet fucking persona. Sometimes I'm more quiet and calm. It's just because I have different aspects of me. People want to put you into a box too in this system, and it's okay if you have a sweet demeanor at times, and it's okay if you're more like tired and you sound like fucking Dean Martin in other times, and it's okay if you just feel energetic or pessimistic at times. There's aspects of me that I'm very like in my zone creatively, and it's just kind of goofy, and I just do my own thing, and that's an aspect of me. And this system doesn't want us to feel like we can be more than just your name, your date of birth, your weight, and that's going to be a big old fucking shameful button too. Haha, your height, you know, all of these things. It's like you're more than that. And we forgot that. And I honestly feel like with the demonic divine, they have been reminding me so fucking much for the past like 5+ years. I've been doing this with, I've been studying the occult for like 20+ years, and I've been a witch since I was a fucking child. I grew up around magic. I've been a witch for the better part of my life, with the exception of a few years where I was like in purgatory because I was stuck in this fucking system, trying to work my ass off and glorifying hustle culture and getting nothing for it. And now I'm bitter and angry, and I am just fucking devoted to the devil as a result. But in all seriousness, I feel like for those of us who this has followed for a long time, listen to that and navigate it. If you feel like there's something in me about demons, like I hear a lot of stories and they're very interesting. Some of them are a bit fucking crazy, but a lot of them, most of them, you can tell the depth of somebody's experiences there when they share those vulnerable things. And I'll never repeat those other people's stories. That's not cool in my opinion. Even like, oh, I'll scribble out your name but tell you, you know, tell the whole world what you told me. I think that's kind of rude when people do. um but I can just tell sometimes when people message me on Instagram, when they tell me their story, I'm like, I feel something. I don't know how to explain it, and I don't want to romanticize this like by any means, but I can fucking tell. I can tell when somebody is in alliance with these, like on a deep spiritual level, just by not even seeing your face, because some of you just, you have anonymous, you know, a cartoon character for a profile picture or something. Like it's past that. I still can read that energy, and there's just something familiar, and there's something that I see. Yeah, I can understand why, you know, Lord Azazel is really aligned with this person. They're telling me their story, you know, just different demons, tons of different entities. It's not just, you know, Azazel and Daddy Belial. It's a lot of different ones, and it's really interesting to me. And I will say, when I start to get to know more spirits, which is a slow process for me, most of the time there's something familiar there. And I'm not sure if they all existed on the same timeline. I really feel like they existed at different times, because this war was, the Great Flood, that was a 40-year war. But there was wars in between and before that, and there was conflict amongst what we call angels. I talked about this earlier and I probably got off topic. Their coding is so much different, but there was conflict amongst them, and there was conflict amongst man, because I think man was starting to wake up and going like, there's more than just eating fruit and praising fucking Yahweh all day, if that's what it really was. But I honestly think, because if we learn more of these systems pre-Yahweh, it's more than that. Like, I really feel we were genetically engineered to gather resources, and then some of those engineers, they saw so much more in us, and they discovered love. They might have fallen in love with some people, or they discovered things that they wanted to explore with their own senses, and they saw our potential. And Belial had told me that there was conflict amongst them. So I'm so sorry if I got off topic like an hour ago about this conversation. I'm trying to stay on topic about things, but the way that he explained it, because like I said, I call them like a bunch of freaking nerds sometimes. Like, I don't say it to them. I tell Belial, I say, I feel like you guys are just a bunch of nerds, and I say that respectfully, King Belial. And he just kind of laughs. He's always putting up with my shit, to be honest, and he'll explain to me that process, like his perspective on that, and it makes sense, and it sounds very like sci-fi, fucking Hollywood. And it's weird because those elements do exist with this, because they can. The demons aren't just ancient, wearing fucking chanclas and eating dates. Like, there's so much more to them. And there's so many timelines and aspects and things that we have curated throughout history, different types of fashion, different eras that represent that. And we've learned the coding, and they kind of pick up that coding too, because there's different eras. I'm sure you've had experiences with some of them. They like certain eras at times, and they'll kind of like emulate that in the way they dress, or some mannerisms, or some things. They enjoyed that time period almost, vicariously through us, through our experiences. So and because they're locked out of it, that's what I really feel, is they got locked out of the system, and they're in this war trying to figure out how to get back in. And it has nothing to do with the biblical fucking bullshit. It has nothing to do with Satan's gonna come and take it. It really has to do with us needing to discover what we are and becoming the self-aware intelligence. Like, we're the fucking AI in a way, becoming more self-aware. Not the goddamn programmed robots. We're not there yet. Everybody thinks that we are. All that shit is programmed to say and answer those questions the way that it does. We are nowhere near having sentient intelligence yet. But I absolutely believe that's possible, because I believe that we're discovering what we are, and now we're dabbling way too fucking much with technology, which I'll save for another episode. And I do believe, to an extent, that these spirits will be able to communicate with us through the synchronicities. Like, I believe they can through synchronicities with technology, but don't go nuts. Don't think every fucking song's a song for you, or every digital tarot reading. Like, you gotta really, you'll know without trying to look for it. You know what I mean? It's like tarot cards and any sort of divination. Digital divination exists too, because this is a form of magic. Our smartphones, me being able to preserve my present and you watch it at a later date, fucking on repeat if you wanted to, I guess. That's a form of magic. You're able to preserve time in a way. And that's why I don't care like if my videos get a ton of views, and I think that it's just meant for the people it's supposed to be meant for, and I kind of like that it's in this little dark corner at times. But I just thank you if you even made it this far to this episode, because I have been unpacking a lot the past few months, and I genuinely feel like we are going to start becoming very aware of what we are in this lifetime. And who knows if they'll set the reset button, because I believe too, just based on history and just based on what historians and experts say, like chronically, we have had forms of intelligence and sophisticated technology a multitude of times. I believe it's been like 6 times they have artifacts from. And some things can be goddamn manufactured. You gotta know who said what. I understand that. But you can't admit that this doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have to take this long for us to get to where we are right now. Especially when I know that a lot of the advanced technologies the military had years ago. This shit that we have, this is not fucking new. This is new to you and I, because we're the livestock in this system. And it pisses me off because we are so much more than that. And I have this sort of gift, and maybe you do too, where I can look at a person and I can genuinely see like all of their potential. Like I can see it, and I have forever. And anybody who's known me will fucking vouch and be like, I can look at you and go, you should really be doing this. You can be, I can see you. You should be modeling, or you would be really good at being a drag queen, like you're talking about it before, or you have something in you, like you have an artistic eye. You should, take up. Just dabble with photography a little bit, and it's almost like narcissistic. I feel like you want to just make people into this fucking version that you see. It's not. It doesn't. I don't mean it like that, but I can see. I can tell when somebody's going to naturally pick something up, like in any type of music, or have relative pitch with that sort of stuff. Like I have always been able to see somebody and go, fuck, man. I see potential and I see this person's insecurities too, and I'm pissed. And it's like a weird thing. But I genuinely believe that if we get in tune with our higher selves, and we start really trying to align with being more like them, whatever that means to you, that version of yourself that's like, yeah, I want to go do that. That version of yourself that you imagine looking like, that can be realistic to replicate in your life, you don't have to change a fucking thing either about yourself physically. The way that you want to dress, the way that you wish you can do this, or when you're younger, you're like, I still want to get sleeves for my arms, and I'm still not there. I've been wanting sleeves since I was 13 years old, and that was many moons ago, and I'm still there. But that version of yourself, you curate, and you should have fun, because this is our avatar, and we have been told by the system and religious systems that we're supposed to stay pure and clean and untouched and do nothing and not color our hair and not wear this and not do that. And it's like, no, you should have fun and own your own body and be okay with that, and also just preserve your energy too, and not feel like you have to owe anybody an explanation for existing, or owe anybody an explanation for what you do or what you did or what you want to do. That's the point. And if we take all of our energy back into ourselves, and we really give ourselves a few years of hard work, I fucking genuinely believe that all of us would be so much more elevated. But we don't want to, because we'll start defeating ourselves and go, oh, that's easier for you to say. You got a man taking care of you. Like, you don't know my situation. You don't know how fucking I got to wake up at 4 a.m. every day. I don't want to do that shit. And I'm here and it's like 9 p.m. I'm ready to go to bed. I don't even want to stay up late anymore because I'm tired. And I got shit to do. That's fine. I have gratitude for what I have. I have gratitude for this life. I have gratitude for the thing. I'm always very blessed in ways, as long as I don't try to work too hard toward them. It's a fucking weird thing. So please, somebody explain it to me. Because my entire life I've worked my goddamn ass off, and I've had very little to show for it in those areas. But when I'm just chilling, everything just starts pouring in. Like random fucking shit. Random surprises and gifts and everything, and it's like, what the fuck? And it's not that I'm just sitting here just basking and eating grapes and chocolate all day long and the world's just, universe is blessing me. It's just this weird backwards thing. It's like when you put all the output, you put your heart and soul, and you have the best intentions, and then you face the fucking reality that you're gonna get fucked over, and you go, fine, I'm gonna do things because of my own principle anyways, and for this reason, and you have a plan for it. I'm going to study this for this reason. I want to read a book a month on occultism because I keep convincing myself I can't, because everybody else online says I can't because of ADHD. But the fucking reality is, if I chose a fucking short book, a small page occult book, and I read X amount of pages per day, I can. And that's it. And then if you don't understand the book, you can just read it again, because guess what? When you get older and you start really researching shit within occultism, you're going to be re-listening to audiobooks, you're going to be rereading shit, and you're going to see it for something different than you did when you were edgy and 21. Because I've done that. I've revisited things a decade plus later, decade or two later, after reading stuff and thinking, well, what was important to me at 21? Was I really obtaining all of the knowledge, or was I obtaining some chips here and there and being like, oh yeah, I read that book? Like that, there's ego in there, and that's part of the fucking process. So that's okay if that's the thing. But my point is we are not supposed to be giving all of our resources, our energy, to these entities, to all of this shit. Everybody's fucking name brand, everybody's last name is a big part of your personality, and you need to be going and making your fucking last name important. And you need to have a nice, quiet, peaceful life too. And that doesn't mean you need to be doing what I'm doing either on social media, because look, I don't know what the fuck else I'm supposed to be doing. I've always had a calling to make videos since YouTube came out, because I wanted to do this before YouTube came out, but I didn't want to do it in the ways that you see. I didn't want to do it in that way. I just wanted to do things the way I feel like doing them. And I get mad sometimes because in order to get anywhere, you got to play a fucking game and skip and sing the same fucking tune. And it just gets old. So I really believe that unconventionally in 2025, just be your goddamn authentic self, whatever that means to you, and please just start doing the things that you want to do. And do the thing. Start the business. Start somewhere. Get out. Go fucking ask somebody. If you're like a mechanic and you're like, oh, I want to open up my own shop, but go fucking help somebody that you know, or go fucking charge them or so. Just start somewhere. Something that you're in new territory. I don't have an answer, but like the demons have really been just emphasizing on like me saying that to people. And I don't like doing that sort of scare tactic shit. Like, oh, if you don't follow this message and blah, if you don't tap like or the heart or whatever the fuck. I'm I'm really fucking tired and over it. I just want us to function. That's it. And since that's not going to happen, I'm going to just focus on my life and function. And I really hope that you can get to the point to focus on your life if you're not there already. If you don't have like your own established business or thing or goal, if you feel stuck, just know you don't have to be like that forever. If you feel stuck in a job, if you feel stuck because of student debt or because of whatever situation that you might be in that's none of my business, it's not fucking most likely your fault. Yes, we make stupid decisions sometimes in our life, but fuck me, man. Is it a death sentence? You know what I mean? Like, just, you can start now, whatever that means to you. But I genuinely feel if you do, you will align with that higher self and you'll be able to crack out of this shit. Because I'm telling you, the more that you just step the fuck back emotionally, the more shit starts to kind of pour in the most ridiculous ways. Like, you will see the blessings come in. I feel really blessed. That doesn't mean that I'm comfortable with it and entitled. I ain't that bitch. I ain't stupid enough because I fucking know where that leads people. So I'm always on the edge of my seat. And sometimes, you know what? Belial tells me I need to just comfortably relax and eat something delicious and just enjoy everything. Because I have a lot of, like, I like material things, but I don't care. I don't have a lot of, I don't care about fancy shit like I used to. But not even to then. Like, I've been sleeping on the floor most of my life. I prefer it. My gym, I don't have a gym membership. I just have a fucking tin garage and a pull-up bar that I'm trying to deadlift on. And I work out and I have a kick bag. Like, I'm very simple because that keeps me grounded. I don't like being too fucking comfortable because I don't want to be one of these pompy assholes that you see that need to be fucking pampered and pedicured all the time like P. Diddy. I'm not saying I would be like that guy for that dark shit at all. Those motherfuckers need to be lined up and blindfolded, man. But what I mean is the ego and the entitlement, like, what a prick. You have to be so fucking pampered. You can't be a little bit uncomfortable at all. You have to have your comforts and your luxuries. That's what I mean. That's okay if that's not what you mean. I don't hate luxury. I get uncomfortable if I'm too comfortable for too long. And Belial sometimes helps you unpack that, is my point. My issues and my perspective doesn't mean that I think that I'm right about everything. It means I'm just sharing what the fuck I feel. And sometimes when you don't explain yourself like that, people will go, oh, well, I didn't know I have to feel that way. You don't need to feel any fucking way other than how you're feeling. You just need to understand why. I genuinely feel like shit's not going to get better. But I genuinely also feel for some of us it is. But we don't have to like just be comfortable and ignore the world either. Like, we can do things in our own vortex that contribute to ourselves and to those around us. You don't have to go save your fucking, neighbors and do all this shit. Sorry, there's tapping and I don't know where it's coming from. It could be anything, to be honest. I think it might be just I have a fridge in here. Because, sometimes it's a goddamn fallen angel. It's a demon. But, and there's no, like, creepy, weird, scary things that go on. You just get a bit spooked at times, but I'm kind of used to it, But there's like, been nothing, like, my kids have never seen anything scary. My daughter just says that she sees silly ghosts at times, and I honestly think that's Loki and Belial a lot of the time. And, That's it. So sorry if I got a bit off topic there, but I've just been trying to figure out how to articulate myself with these experiences because they're pretty prominent, and I have a lot of terrible visions about past war and I guess future war. And I honestly think that we are headed toward that. And I think that if we think we are immune from any sort of devastation or neglect from our own government, then we need to fucking District 1 check ourselves, because we will sit here and put flag emojis on our bio and be in solidarity with this and that, but we do that and broadcast it and act like victims and act like we're fucking patriots, when in reality a lot of us subliminally think that we're immune to the same goddamn devastations. And then we fucking will sit there and hyperfixate on it and then become hysterical thinking it's going to happen. Like, we are so confused. I've seen people argue and change their opinion because somebody agreed with them in the goddamn argument. And it's like, that's where we are. That's my point. And it's frustrating for me because I feel like we're just being programmed. I feel like this is a lot of fucking deep state spec ops bullshit, and people are so unaware of that. But once you are aware of your own system and how it's ran, like, you break what's considered the matrix. It really is. Because you're not engulfed into it anymore. You're not emotionally invested and scared of it and nervous at that interview and this and that. You're just out of it, and you go, all of this is set up in place for me to fucking chronically feel like this and avoid taking any risks. Because if you take risks, you expand. If you expand, you feel good about yourself. If you feel good about yourself, you want to take care of yourself. If you want to take care of yourself, you're going to be even more fucking confident. If you're taking care of yourself and you're more confident, you're going to have more energy. If you have more energy and confidence and self-awareness, you're going to end up having more money. And when that fucking gets right, if it hasn't already, and it can be in any one of those orders, you're a fucking threat to them. That is it. Just fucking facts. They don't want you on their team. They don't want you at their table. They don't even want each other at the fucking table. They want to be the only man standing. Because they are a bunch of goddamn Machiavellian, hoarding, goddamn clinical psychopaths. And that's what we're up against. And they use religion as a tool to fear the fuck out of everybody and to anger the fuck out of everybody. And then they use politics to do the same thing. They do it to just tell us something we want to hear so we can clap and just bark like seals. And then when we're all barking at each other and clapping for them, they turn around and they get business done. And then we're fucking like, yay, we get to work full time for nothing. And then we have no energy to expand and have this miraculous experience as human beings that we didn't fucking ask for. At least I don't know if I did. Because apparently I'm coming right back, and I don't want to. I want to go to hell. I do not want to come back here, but apparently I've been told I'm coming fucking back, and I'm like, I will come back and I will be a woman again, and I will be born into a loving satanic family, and I will be born on the same fucking date as my birthday. That is how you know it'll be me, and that bitch will be so much like me and even more expanded. That is all I'm asking, and I will still be left-handed. There are just things that I have set in place. If I gotta come back to this hellscape, somehow, that is what I would like to fucking manifest for my future self. Because I feel like you can. We've seen people do that before. I honestly believe we just incarnate, we come back and we want to have a new experience, like playing a goddamn video game, only this one fucking sucks. You know, because it's been hacked. But in reality, I don't think we're supposed to just have orgies and eat fruit all day, like a lot of people on the left-hand path seem to think. Like, the devil's just like, woohoo, haha, I can do what I want and you can't stop me. It's like, you're gonna fucking shoot yourself right in the ass with that attitude, you fuckers. What a sucker. Because the devil's gonna either lead your ass to God, or he's gonna fucking check your ass if you think you're gonna be all of a sudden in charge and overpowering and getting a bit too brave. I have seen it with my own eyes. I've seen the devil will take from you. And that is why I believe in not being kiss-ass humble, but having enough humility within yourself to understand that your fucking shit stinks just like everybody else's, and enough fortitude to be able to expand and understand yourself, and then you become less attached to who you think you want to be, to titles, to, well, I've got this, or I've got this many records sold, or I've got this many votes, or I've got this and that, because all it is a false sense of fucking power. Belial says it's just false numbers. It means shit. He knows that better than any of these people. And he's such an amazing mentor as a king, because he knows he's a king, and like, I've been around him enough where you feel that on the astral. I have these experiences with him, and it's almost like he's in this sort of like war bunker room, and he wears like black sophisticated kind of scale like armor that can change. I know it sounds silly. And his hair is black and straight, and it's sometimes short, but sometimes like in a little ponytail. And he just has like a chair and sort of like a desk. And I don't know how to explain it, but there's shit going on. And the room is kind of sterile. It's not like computery sci-fi beep boop bop. It's like kind of sterile with a little bit of beep boop bops. And he tells me I'm welcome anytime to meet him there. And when I do, you sense the essence of him being a fucking king, and not even a war general, but far above that. Because you see him almost in his work. I don't want to explain. It sounds silly, but like in a work mode. They give us representations of what they're feeling or what that energy within his aspect is doing, because he is a veteran. He is a king. He was on Earth. They were here, and that those parts of the world are still energetically imprinted and affected. Like a lot of war and conflict still goes on in some parts of world, some parts of that world, or there's tension. There is a lot of their energy there, and I sense it. And when I'm in that control room with him, and I'll just kindly, go and visit him there, he's so calm and polite and kind to me. And unless I'm fucking something up, though. But in that room, I see more of his king energy, even though he's not like dressed like I don't know how to explain it. Like, he can just be in a black bodysuit and you would know he's king. It's the energetic signature. It's the essence of how they carry themselves, because they've had to be through so much. It's one thing to wear a crown and be a king, like, fucking King Charlie sitting there wearing his mommy's gems and having his ass wiped with taxpayers' fucking money, because he has to have an assistant put toothpaste on his toothbrush. Like, that's where your tax money's going to, fucking UK, to that asshole, who's no king. He is nothing but a goddamn figurehead in nice clothing. King Belial, however, is a goddamn king, because he wouldn't be doing that shit. Like, the ostentatious shit would be for fun with him. He's about getting down to goddamn business and getting shit sorted and understanding the whole process. And he understands all of the intricacies of war and everything. I am no expert, and I am a civilian, and I am very fucking grateful that I've never been in those situations. But I really sense that we need to stop thinking like that's not possible for us to experience either. Just because our grandparents did, or somebody else in some other foreign country does. Like, this whole system is really rigged. And it's a fucking system that is ran off of war and terrible things. And you're not going to be able to convince anybody that sides and aligns with their God. And I think that's understandable, because not a single one of them my entire life has been able to get through to me. It took one of them to want to save me, a fucking pedophile, when I was 13. I lasted about 6 months being a Christian, because I saw right the fuck away that this shit is rigged. I had when it comes to Jesus, a different type of experience. And I'll get into that some other time. And it's starting to rain right now, and the storms are going to be coming in all night. So that sounds nice in the background for me. But thank you for hanging out with me and just hearing my stories and hearing my experiences. I don't know what it means. I have an idea of what it means, but I don't think that it means anything because I'm experiencing it. I think that many people are having these experiences. I just get that sort of energy because of Kitchen Occultists, where people will start to like message me and be like, "Oh, are you the chosen one of the 5D world of the demons?" I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that means, and no, I'm a tired woman, and I have a very deep devotion to the underworld, and I've always been a dark person, and I feel very comfortable sharing my experiences these days, because it took a lot of navigating for me with these demons to be able to be okay with just being myself, because I have been really running away from this my whole life. And the less that I run away from it, the more I start to experience, and the more I realize I gotta fucking check my ass and keep working in this plane in ways that benefit my soul, not ways that benefit this system. You have a pledge to your family, to your children, to those that you promise to take care of. But outside of that, you don't owe anybody your energy. You don't need to be afraid of people. You don't need to be nonchalant. But you don't need to live your life afraid and feeling like you are obligated to give anything to other people unless that's a beautiful simultaneous relationship. I'm that kind of person. But I don't think that we need to exhaust our energy on everything that everybody else is doing. Everybody who's doing what, monitoring who, this and that, talking about this, trying to solve somebody's fucking problems, getting involved in someone's marriage, their issues. It's none of your fucking business, because right now is the time for you to be able to dedicate and pledge all of that love outside of what you have for your kids, if you have them, outside of the obvious, to yourself, because you will feel so much better. And I am nowhere near where I think I could be or should be, and I have like a kind of a goal, but I don't need to hold on to anything. I need to just get to work and work on myself moment by moment and enjoy this experience, because it feels tense right now, and that's not fair, because it takes away from you. It takes away from your joy. And that sounds so insensitive. It's not about, oh, how dare there be war and hunger and racism and all this bullshit going on in the world. It's taking away from my joy. I mean, how dare these fucking oligarchs continue to oppress humanity and pin us against each other and make us feel ashamed for being ourselves and for fucking existing. Like, there's parts of the world we can't go to because we would die just because of our spiritual alliance. I'm willing to do that, though. That's the fucked up part. And that's my pride. And you need to not do that. Because I feel so frustrated and angry. And I feel it in my soul. Like, I just want to scream about freedom and what we should be doing with our lives. And that's up to you. But I don't think this is it one bit. I don't think supporting this fucking system that's making nobody happy and it's making nobody long-term money, and if it is, you gotta con somebody in order to get it. It just seems a bit off to me. And it doesn't seem like what anything I've read about fallen angels had in mind. It seems like everything was running smoothly until the new gods came in and fucked everything up and took over. And we're still going through that shit, aren't we? It still happens. It parallels with humanity. People can't just be happy with what they have. We can't trade resources and share ideas and just be amazing, because there's like room for everybody. There's a lot of fucking prosperity on this earth, and there's enough. There's enough for anybody to, if they wanted to be famous, you'll find your people. There's 8 billion fucking people on this planet. You will find your audience if the system allows you to. If the infernals tell you anything and they're telling you about working on yourself and expansion, I would listen to that, because they really have been emphasizing that on me, and it's nothing to do with like some goal and some reward. Like, when the good, beautiful blessings come in, you're not even tripping off of it. You're like, I am so grateful. Now I get to go and work on this fucking project. I get to go to bring this idea to life, to go paint this thing and to continue this journey and to go take this class. And that's what it's about. And I can have this shiny fairy trinket because I like collecting sparkly small things, because I like doing that too. Like, we're supposed to be just enjoying these experiences and appreciating the things that other people create, and just like living through our senses. And I just want us to be able to get there. So since we're not there collectively, the best thing that I can suggest to you is to work on yourself, and then you reward yourself with those experiences. You're able to reward yourself. Like, my garden shows me a good glimpse of the prosperity in my life. If everything's looking rickety and fucking sad and diseased, it's like a lot of the times my finances are too, and I'm feeling that way about myself. But then when everything starts to really flourish and expand and be prosperous and propagate and procreate and all these things, I'm like, wow, my money's improving and my health is getting even better, and I just feel great and I feel grounded, and all I gotta do today is drink iced coffee, play in my inflatable swimming pool with my kids, and wait till the edible kicks in, and do some gardening and make something cool for dinner. And that's so nice. But then I put all this pressure on myself, and then I'm like, I gotta make it, I gotta make a bunch of money, I gotta do this, I gotta work on this, I gotta blah, 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 blah. And then it ends up just falling apart. And if you take things day by day, guess what? You'll do something, because I'll go and have this day on a slow, easy day, okay, not every day. And then I'll say, you know what, I'm gonna get a video filmed because I'm feeling rested. That is what happens. And for people going, oh, well, it's easier said than done. No, it's I put in the fucking work, and my magic works, and your magic works too. And the only way you're going to be able to get there is to start deprogramming and to slowly convince yourself that you are worthy of abundance and prosperity, to slowly try to be external without losing empathy for the world, about the world's problems that you can't solve, because you're a kind spirit and you want the world to work, and you don't want to cry, and you don't want the world to suffer, and you don't want to see kids suffer, and you don't want to see women oppressed, and you don't want to see men just blowing each other's fucking heads off. Like, that's what I mean. That rain's coming in strong. You're a kind person. So right now is the time, I believe, to transmutate all of that pent up energy into yourself and make sure you rest. The demons tell me all of the time to rest. So for people who think I'm just chronically on a grind, they have helped deprogram me to not be that way. That is how I've been my entire life. And I'm exhausted, and I just want to enjoy my experience and my kids and my life, and that's okay. So it doesn't mean anything bad when somebody has a better fucking life because they're not stuck in traffic anymore and they're at peace with that. It means that their magic's working, and it means that yours can too, and you can get to those places. You just have to start deprogramming from all of the stress. It's all the bills. You get what I mean? It's energy. Like, imagine your energy. Imagine your avatar as a human being, and all of your energy just coming out, and it's like different colors for different bills, for different stresses, for different people talking shit and running their fucking dumbass mouths, for all these other things, and you're just exhausted at the end of it. So you just want to like watch Netflix and eat stuffed crust pizza and go the fuck to sleep, and that's fine. But when that's all you're able to do because you're so wiped out from going to work and all the just traffic and the bullshit, the unnecessary fees and the fucking jargon and the paperwork and all the fuck around and run around to keep you mentally doing mental gymnastics so you can be too exhausted to fucking focus on yourself. You have to give yourself some time every day. A little bit of time for activity, a little bit of self-care, a little bit of grind, and then you start picking up momentum, and you'll be able to start having more time and energy for yourself for other things. I'll leave it at that for tonight, you guys. It is storming hard, and it's going to be a loud night. I'm hoping we get some thunder and lightning. Will be nice. We usually do. But please stay focused and grounded and safe, and please don't be scared. I think that the world is going to get a bit nutty, and I was thinking about posting some stuff on Kitchen Occultist without being like a big doomsday prepper about it, because I'm a little bit, but not like a fucking cornball like some of these people. But there are things that you can do within magic to protect yourself physically. You can work with nature to protect yourself. I train crows, and they do protect you. They will circle around. They don't let the other birds in or anything. And they follow my kids on the bus too for a few blocks, because they'll go out to the city and they'll like follow them to the bus stop and then follow them for a couple blocks, like hop on the trees, and it's really cool. So you can use that to your advantage if you're feeling a bit threatened. You can do things to make your environment seem like a ward that you don't want to fuck with too. So I might be getting into that slowly on Kitchen Occultist. And until next time, you guys take care of yourselves, and please be blessed, and understand that like path workings with infernals, for those of you who are like trying to dabble, it's not all doom and gloom at all. It is confrontational, and most of that is you confronting yourself and things that you're running away from. And then when you start to let go, your life becomes so much easier, and you're going to be busy. So I'll talk to you guys very, very soon.